Hey y'all, welcome back to another NV Creations coin roll hunting video. This is part 1 of my 1 box of quarters hunt. This is box 2 of quarters. I'm going to hunt through the first 10 rolls in this hunt so we can compare the points for this box and hunt to the last one. In box 1 I found 12 San Francisco business strikes, which is pretty cool. I've come up with a point system to compare boxes to one another, and it goes 1 point for foreign coins, 2 points for business coins, 5 points for West Point minted coins, 10 points for proofs, 20 points for silver coins, and 50 for standing liberties. I list all the coins that I find in my videos on my website at nvcreationsmontana.com if you'd like to pick one up for your collection. I use CoinSnap to get all the pricing, and I use the lowest price that it gives me. If you have any questions, please leave a comment. If you have a question that you don't want in the comments, my email address is nvcreationsmontana@gmail.com. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share this video with all your friends. Get it out across the system. So stay tuned and let's get started. Alright, so like I said, I went down to the bank, bought another box of quarters here so we can compare it to the last box. Definitely had fun doing that. Hopefully we can find something good. I'd like to come across the silver quarter. I've yet to find one on my own. We'll crack this open, we'll take a quick peek at what's inside, and we'll see what we have. Try to get some stuff out of the way so we can get this open so we can get some light on it. Alright, so taking a peek at the enders, I am seeing a lot of newer coins in here. There is a 2009. I like to keep the 2009, 10, 11s, and 12s because they were lower minted coins. Here's a 2020 Samoan Islands. There's a possibility of a West Point on it. But like I said, today we're going to run through the top 10 here, and then the next video and the following videos. So, at that, I will get this box moved out of the way, and we'll get started on roll number 1 and see what we can find. Alright, so here we've got roll number 1. Get this open. We'll see if there's any magic inside. There is lots of newer coins in here, so it's going to be tough. Not seeing much for silver, but I got this one here. Flip it over. It's just a 1970, but that edge is so dirty you don't know if that's copper or silver. So I'll go ahead and get these out of here. And we'll see what we got. I might move you guys down a little closer here. See if we can get a closer look at this. Alright. Hopefully we can find something good in here. I have been setting aside a lot of these for my personal collection. There's a 65. That's going to be the oldest clad coin. 84, that's my birth year. I'm going to hang on to that one. Here's a 2020 Marsh-Billings Rockefeller. I'll flip that over and see if it's got the West Point mint, and it's just a Denver. There's a nice clean new Celia Cruz 2024 Montana. I hang on to the Montanas because I make jewelry out of those if you guys are interested. My website does have a jewelry section if you wanted to check that out. Look at that one. That one's been through the ringer. Must have been from a parking lot. Hawaii. It's fun to see them ones that are pretty nasty like that. I find them on the ground. I pick them up, turn them in, get a quarter's worth money out of the deal, you can throw it towards buying more coins or piggy bank. A lot of stake quarters. Get that light in on us a little better so we can might not give us a better look, but it'll definitely throw glare on everything. Hopefully we can find something nice. Patsy Takamoto Mink. Here's 96. 2021. That one looks like it was torched. We can check for die chip arrow in his hat, which I don't see one. So finding some nice clean looking quarters, but nothing jumping out at me yet that I want to hang on to, except for that Montana and that 84. Here's the Salt River Bay. We can check to see if that's got West Point, and it's going to be another Denver, another Celia Cruz. Has anybody out there heard of when they're going to be releasing the 2025 quarters? If you know, throw it down in the comments for me. So far, we've just found a couple for me to hang on to in my personal collection, nothing point-wise, so we'll throw a 0 up on roll number 1 and get on to the number 2. Alright, roll number 2. Hopefully it's a little better than that last one. Let's find something for our points for us to put up on the point chart. Do a quick edge check. I'm not seeing any silver, so we'll get these out and see what we come up with. Another crossing the Delaware we can check. I don't see any die chip error on that one. '97, 82. Very dirty West Virginia there. Another crossing the Delaware. I don't see any die chipping on the hat there. It'd be nice to find one. I've seen them out around, but I've never found one in the wild. Here's a Salt River Bay. We'll flip that over. It's got a Denver mint mark, unfortunately. A lot of Denvers up here in the Montana area. 2019 Memorial Park. It's got the Denver because that's the way I picked it up. I am looking for a couple of Philadelphias in the women's series for my collection. Hopefully I can come across one of them or 2 of them in my hunt here. There's a 2020 Weir Farm. We found a couple of those as San Francisco business strikes. This one's going to be a Philly. There's another 2020 Marsh Billings Rockefeller. We'll flip that over. It's a Denver. Another 84. I'll throw that in my collection. Here we've got a Wisconsin. We can take a look to see if it's got that extra leaf on the cob of corn, which I'm not seeing either of them. Here's a 2019 Lowell. It's pretty shiny. We can flip that to see if it's got the West Point. And another Denver. Couple is it Colasaws. Here we've got a 2020 American Samoa National Park. This is my favorite quarter design. I just love it. I hang on to all of them. That one's just going to be a Denver. So nothing fancy on that. Alright, so all I found was an 84 and American Samoa on that one. So again, roll number 2, no points, but a couple things for me to put in my personal collection. So I'll get this cleaned up and we'll move on. Alright, roll number 3 here. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we can find some silver or a business strike or a proof. So quick edge check, and I am not seeing any silver. A bunch of clad there, so we'll dive in and try to find some of the fun stuff on the inside. 2014 arches. Gotta remember where my camera is here so I can make sure you guys can see what I'm looking at. Move things around a little bit and puts the camera at a different spot. So 79, that's a little older. 65, 78. We are finding some older coin. Here's another American Samoa. We'll flip that over and see if we got a West Point or a Philly. It's just a Denver, but I'm going to hang on to it. Do you guys have a favorite quarter that you hang on to? Let me know in the comments what it is. I like to know what people like. If they have, everybody's got different tastes. Find something that you like and want to hang on to a certain design. Here's another Salt River Bay. We'll flip that over. It's going to be a Denver. Right below it is another Salt River Bay. We'll flip that one. Another Denver. I have found a Salt River Bay West Point. Flip over this Kansas and see if the In God We Trust is good or not. Sometimes they come up with In God We Rest. It's a nice little error that people find. Here's a 2011 Chickasaw low minted coin, Philadelphia mint mark. I hang on to every one of them from that year. Find something else. Finding a lot of the Colasaws in this box. There's a Great Basin, but it's a 2013, so it's not going to be a low minted coin. Here's another Salt River Bay. We'll flip that one over. It's got the Denver, not a West Point. So far, no business strikes. There's a Montana. We'll hang on to that. Being from Montana, I do make rings out of those and sell a lot of them at the farmers markets and craft shows. If you'd like to get one from a certain year, like the 65 to 98s, I can make it with that year sticking out, or I can make one state ones where it'll say on the outside and you'll have the state and then the year it was minted. Check it out on my website, nvcreationsmontana.com. I can make one up for you. Roll number 3, still 0 points on the point system. A couple for me to hang on to in my personal collection, so I'll get this cleaned up and move on. Alright, roll number 4. So far just a couple of personal collection keepers. Nothing point-wise. Nothing that's going to go up on the website for us. Going to do a half a roll silver check. Didn't get this one to open very well. Trying to open a roll of quarters like this where you don't want them to spill everywhere it's kind of difficult. But we got it. So hopefully we can find something cool in this roll. This one's been worn down almost in the right light. You'd think it was a reverse proof, which they don't make, but it'd be fun to tell people that. The naive folk would probably fall for it. Another 65. About old enough. Here's a Salt River Bay. It's going to be a Denver. Here's a 2010 Yosemite. I'll hang on to that one because it's a low minted coin. Make up rolls of them. Here's a 2012 Chocolate Culture, another lower minted coin. I don't know if you can hear it in the background. My dog is scratching the floor. Not sure why he does that, but it's kind of annoying. Alright, a 2019 No River Return. We'll flip that and see if we got the W. Another Denver. Might just be because I got you guys on camera that it's not going to let me give me a West Point. That'd probably be my luck. We get a kick out of this. I call it the Bob Ross quarter because of his hair. A few older coins here. There's an Alaska. We can take a real close look and see if it's got an extra claw or some extra material between the L and the A and land. I'm not seeing any. Here's a 2012 Denali. I'll hang on to that one. Again, another lower minted coin. Got another Salt River Bay. We can check that for the mint mark. It's going to be another Denver. And a 71. So all we did find here was 3 lower minted coins. I'll throw those in my collection and we'll put a 0 up on roll number 4. Get this cleaned up and we'll move on. Alright, here we go on to roll number 5. Still no points on this hunt. Just a few coins for my personal collection. Take a quick silver check. I'm seeing all clad edgings, so won't get nothing there. So we'll see what we can pull out of the inside. A lot of Connecticut quarters. There's another Kansas. We can check for In God We Rust. Don't see it there. Crossing the Delaware, we can check for the die chipping on the hat, and it's not there. Here's another American Samoa. We can check that for the mint mark. And we're going to get a Denver. But I'll hang on to that one, because like I said, I like that design. There's a 66. 79 in pretty nice shape. It's got a Denver mint mark. Well, there we got our first bicentennial quarter. I keep all them too and put them up on my website when I get a full roll of them if somebody wants to collect them. There's a few people out there that collect bicentennial quarters. Here's a 2012 Denali, lower minted. We'll hang on to that one as well. '72, there's an older one. Another 65. That's quite a few 65s so far in this hunt. Here's another Kansas we can check for In God We Rust, and that one's going to be in really good shape. No error on that one. Here's another Salt River Bay. We'll flip that. We're going to get the Denver mint mark there. So Delaware, we can check for that spitting horse. I don't see it. Alright, we're going to end on Alabama. So all I found was my American Samoan for my personal collection, bicentennial, and a 2012 Denali low minted coin. So no points on roll number 5. So far this hunt's come up with nothing but a few coins for my personal collection. So I'll get this cleaned up and we'll move on to 6. Alright, roll number 6 here. We can find something good. Rolls aren't opening as nice as I've had them. Something old or dirtier looking here. Probably not old, but dirty. Yeah, it's just a dirty 2022. It's amazing how some of them get dirty and nasty like that so fast. And then you got these other quarters that from the 60s that are in great shape. Another Bob Ross, Frederick Douglass. I think those are funny looking coins. Just a funny looking guy, I guess. Here's a 2020 Tallgrass Prairie. We can flip that and see. Got a Denver. No West Point, no San Francisco. Wouldn't mind finding a San Francisco business strike. Throw them up on my website if you're looking for one that you're missing out of your collection. Here's a 2011 Chickasaw, lower minted. We'll hang on to that. '79. Here we got a. Looks like it's going to be back-to-back Salt River Bays. Maybe we got a good chance here. Got a Denver on that one. This one must have been hunted already. I saw in my last box I got a American Samoa where the date was sharpied over like that, so I'm guessing that means it's already been hunted through and they didn't find what they wanted. Another Connecticut. Seems to be a lot of them. Here's a 2020 Marsh Billings Rockefeller. We can check that for the W. It's going to be a Denver. Another Salt River Bay 2020. We'll flip that. It's going to be a Denver. Here's a Wisconsin. We can check for that extra leaf on the cob corn. I'm not seeing it. Pretty quiet hunt so far. Well, we got one coin out of this roll that I'm going to hang on to. The last one's going to be a Marsh Billings Rockefeller 2020. We'll flip that, and another Denver. So all I found was a 2011 Chickasaw low minted coin. No points on those, but we'll move on to roll number 7. 0 points for this hunt. So far it's been a bust. Okay. Let's hope for something good here in roll number 7. We'll get it. There it goes. Release. No silver edging, so we'll dive into the inside here and see what we can find. So far, nothing good. Here's a 2010 Yellowstone. This one's a tough one for me to find. We'll hang on to that because that's going to be lower minted. I think that's one of the toughest ones for me to find up here. So it's kind of nice to find one of those. There's another 2020 Tallgrass Prairie. We'll flip that. It's going to have the Denver mint mark. There's a 2019 War in the Pacific. We can flip that, check. It's going to be a Denver. 73, 77. Another War in the Pacific, 2019. We'll flip that over. It's going to have a Denver mint mark, unfortunately. Here we got another 2020 American Samoa. I'll flip that over. It's going to be a Denver. I'll hang on to that for my personal. Here's a nice shiny Voyagers. Flip that over. I was hoping for a San Francisco business strike, but just down the other Denver. Here's a Salt River Bay. Another Denver. Crossing the Delaware, we can check his hat. No die chipping. There's so many different errors on coins that people will collect. It's hard to keep track of all of them. You might find one that somebody has that you don't know about. Here's a Salt River Bay, Denver, 67. Florida. A couple of Dr. Mary Edwards Walker at the end there. So just our 2010 Yellowstone and a American Samoan 2020 that I'll hang on to. No points on roll 7. This one is not turning out too well, but you never know what we can find in the next 3 rolls. Alright, cross your fingers we find something good in roll number 8 here. Edge check. I'm not seeing any silver, just a bunch of clad. There are a couple of newer nice shiny coins in there, so maybe we'll get a proof or a business strike. So far nothing good. $67. Delaware, we could check for a spinning horse. I'm not seeing one. Nice shiny 97, that's in pretty decent shape. And 38 years old. And you get ones like this. It's a 2022. Looks like it's been sitting at the bottom of a pond for a while. And another cross in Delaware. I'm not seeing any die chipping, so we'll throw it back. Here's a 2010 Yosemite. That's going to be lower mintage, so we'll hang on to that one. A little something for the collection. Make up rolls of those, and maybe I'll sell them on the website one of these days. So keep your eyes peeled. If you check it out, you might find a roll of them on there. Here's a San Antonio's Mission 2019. We can check that one for the West Point. It's going to be another Denver. Pretty quiet roll over here. 1970. So all we got out of that roll was a 2010 Yosemite. So that's still going to be 0 points on there. Fingers crossed, roll 9 or 10 has something for us. I'll get this cleaned up and we'll move on. Alright, let's see what we got in roll number 9. Hopefully something good. Need to get my heart rate up. Finding a point coin just makes me feel good. Not seeing any silver in there. Here's Kansas. We can check for In God We Rust. And it's not on that one. $77. Salt River Bay. Gonna be a Denver though. Picked that one up upside down, so kind of got a glimpse at it. Try to pick these up so I can't see the mint mark on them, so it's a surprise for everybody, but sometimes you mess up. 88. $86, $87, a lot of 80s coins in here. Other Bob Ross 2017 there. Here we got a 2019 Lowell. Let's see if that's got the West Point. It's Denver. Here's the 2019 War in the Pacific. We'll check that one. It's going to be a Denver as well. Another War in the Pacific. We'll check that one. It's going to be a Denver. Like I said, being up here in Montana, we get a lot of Denver minted coins being right there. Well, it looks like on roll number 9 we got a total bust, nothing for my personal collection either. So let's get that final roll cracked open. Hopefully there's something great in there, so stay tuned. Alright, on to the final roll of hunt number 1. The box that could have already been hunted through, you never know. But you never know if you're going to find something of a surprise in there. Just a dirty coin here in the middle. We'll flip that over. It's going to be a 97 though. Can't tell if it was clad or not. So look at there, right on the end. Bicentennial quarter. So no points, but at least it's a win for my personal collection. There's a 2019 River of No Return. We can check that. A Philadelphia this time. Closer, but not quite close enough to a West Point. Pretty quiet hunt. There's a 2019 River of No Return. We'll check that. Gonna be a Denver. Another Connecticut. Finding a lot of them, like I said. I'll have to check the mintage on those. I feel like it's pretty high. Here we got a Salt River Bay. We'll check that mint mark. It's going to be another Denver. '66. Here's a 2012 Hawaiian Volcano. That's going to be another lower minted coin, so we'll hang on to that. Denver mint mark on that one. Salt River Bay. Check that one. Another Denver. 68. '82. 69. Here's an American Memorial Park. We can check that one for the mint mark. It's going to be a Philly. Not quite a West Point. Last one's a Virginia from Denver. So in the final roll we just got a Bicentennial and a 2012 Hawaiian Volcano. No points on hunt number 1. First 10 rolls. I did find a few keepers for my personal collection. So we will end the video here. If you guys haven't, hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't. Share it with your friends. If you want to buy any of the coins that I've found in my hunts, I can't say that I find in this hunt because I really didn't find anything for the website, but check it out at nvcreationsmontana.com. It's Throw a comment down in there. Let me know what you guys think of this. You can't let a hunt with no points get you down, because you got to stick to it. Once in a while you get a bum hunt like this. It's just the luck of the draw. It's why they call it hunting. It's not coin finding. If you guys have a personal question you don't want in the comments, hit me up at nvcreationsmontana@gmail.com. All this information will be down in this, I wanted to say subtitles, down in the description. That's the word I'm looking for. Well, anyways, I'm going to quit waffling on, and you guys have a great day, and thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.